morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. Just like usual, we're going to lift our spine up, elongate through our spine, and start with our 10 chin tucks back. Let's get ready and begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We're going to do our head turns from side to side, coming back to the center. 5 per side. Here we go. 1, back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. We're going to do 10 cat-cow next. Your seated variation. You can have a little width between your feet here and hands on the end of your thighs here as we arch and tuck. Or you can do the standing variation with me, placing your palms on the chair, creating a 90-degree bend at the hips here. And we're going to go ahead and round and tuck our chin. And untuck. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Last one we're going to do for reps is our hip circles. We're going to do 5 each direction. Okay, if you're seated, you're going to be on the edge of your chair with your feet wide. It's going to look like this. You're going to be rotating through your upper body. If you're standing, you're going to see your hips rotate a little bit more. Okay, so let's get ready. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's switch directions. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. So we're going to do our first part. We're going to stick with Tabata. 24-minute workout, and then 2 Tabatas to finish. Okay, this first Tabata is kind of in line with warming us up. Okay, so we are going to do a jack press. Okay, so our standing variation is going to look like this. So we've got these jack legs, jumping jack legs. Okay, modified, and we're coming up and down with those arms. All right, up and down. All right, and then the second move we are doing is our hamstring curl and our pull back with the arms. Okay, so these 2 movements paired together. Okay, you can, even with the jack press, if you're advanced and you want to do a couple jumps, okay, you can do that. It's up to you. All right. Remember, Tabata is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds recovery. We have 4 rounds, and it's 4 minutes long. I'm going to do the first round seated here, and then I'm going to move to standing. So we are starting with that jack press. Okay, so let's get ready. 20 seconds is on the clock. In 3, 2, and 1. So I'm seated. So here I am seated. Five more seconds here. We're going to go to our hamstring curl and our pull back arms and time. Okay. Second move. Okay. From seated, I'm closer to the edge of my chair so that I can tap those toes back. Okay. Ready? Begin. 5, 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, I'm going to move to standing, but remain seated if you're doing that now. That's comfortable for you. We're going back to jack press. Ready? And begin. Here we go. Remember, Tabata are these short little bursts here, okay? So don't be afraid to put a little more intensity into it because we're not going as long. Of course, always listening to what your body is saying to you though. 2 and time. Back to our pullback and our hamstring curl. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. A rhythm and pace that is comfortable for you in your own unique body. Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Going back to jack presses, top of round 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Keep all the joints in the body. Make everything prepared for the weighted work to come. And to elevate that body temperature and heart rate slightly here. And recover. Bottom of round 3, we have our hamstring curl without pullback. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Two and 1. Okay, final round for each exercise. Jack press in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Hopefully by now you're starting to feel that body temperature heat up a little bit, feeling a little warmth throughout the body, getting that blood flowing, that heart pumping. 2 and 1. Okay, final set of pullbacks here with the hamstring curl in 5, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Two and 1. Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and take a drink here. I'm going to go ahead and explain our 45-15 here. 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, transition time to the next exercise. 3 rounds straight through, just like we've been doing. Okay, so we're starting with lunges today. Okay, alternating lunges. Okay, the support of a chair or alternating seated leg press. Then we are going into goblet squats. Okay, so with or without weight. If you're not using weight, you can just cross your hands over the front of your chest here. And we're just, without the chair, we're coming down to our own range. I'm pressing my heels into the floor and I'm coming up, okay? Goblet squats. After that, I want to give you an option today. We're gonna do either a curl and press, seated or standing, or you can do a wall push-up. I don't really have good wall space here, so I don't do a lot of the wall activities, but you would press your hands, okay? Pretend we're like my palms are on the wall right here, okay? All right, so do you see this, the track that my elbows and my palms are on? This is the way your arms should look when you're doing that wall press up. Like if you were gonna push somebody, that's how you know you're in the right position. Okay, if something like this starts to happen, you need to correct your form. Your elbows shouldn't be flaring out, okay? They should stay underneath the shoulder, okay? Like if you're gonna push somebody out of your way, that's exactly how it would be. And you're going to create an angle against the wall. The best I can show you here is I don't have the wall space, But if this was the wall, this is a little low. Okay, on the wall, you'd probably be about here, right? But you're coming on the wall, and you're gonna lean in towards the wall. You're gonna exhale, push out. Inhale in, exhale, push out. Okay, that is your alternative if you want to do something besides a curl and press today. Okay, after that, grapevine. After that, our hinge and row. Okay, after that, our sit squat and press. So we'll sit it down and press it up. You can either use 2 dumbbells or 1 dumbbell. If you want to use 1 or a water bottle, we would sit it down, drive it up. Sit it down, drive it up. So 1 or 2 dumbbells for that, or no weight, okay? After that, we're still doing our bicep curl march. Okay, and then the last one is we're still doing our thumbs up. I, T, and Y hinge, okay? So there are 8 exercises. I'm going to do round 1 seated, all right? So 45 seconds is going on the clock, and we are starting with our alternating lunges, okay? So grab onto a chair, or maybe just have one near you in case you need it. I'm gonna start with my alternating seated leg press for round 1 as my seated variation. Let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. So remember, with the seated variation, you're scooped here a little bit. You feel your core engage as you press that heel into that imaginary object in front of you. You're pressing something heavy away with the heel of your foot. Seated option is a great variation if the standing is just a little too much. Maybe you can get 1 or 2 sets standing, and then the third you need to do seated. You can play around with your, your modifications too. You don't have to just stick to 1 variation once you start, okay? 2 and 1. Okay, we're not done with legs yet. We're gonna go to our goblet squat. So remember, if you're standing, the heels are about shoulder width apart. You're gonna lower down, drive up, okay? I'm gonna be doing alternating leg press here for our seated variation. And we're on. Remember, when you're doing the squats, you are driving through the heels of your foot as you return up and really engaging those glutes at the top. Okay, when you're standing up there, think about squeezing your glutes nice and hard there. That mind muscle connection is important. With our seated leg extension, as I flex my foot and I extend it straight, I'm really getting a good mind muscle connection through my quadriceps and my glutes, because I'm actively saying engage, contract, 2 and 1. Good. Moving on to our curl press, okay? Or you can do your wall push-ups. Remember, if you want to do the wall push-up variation, you can do that, okay? I'm going to stick with the seated curl and press this round. Ready? Begin. Now remember, if you're doing the curl and press and it starts to give you irritation in the shoulder, just take the press out and stick with the bicep curl here, okay? Excellent. 10 more seconds here. Then we're going to go to our grapevine. 2 and 1, okay? Just in case there's anyone new joining and you're doing the standing variation, remember, grapevine is step, back, step, tap, step, back, step, tap, okay? For our seated, we're doing 2 lateral taps before we go to the other side. Here we go. It's important that we train in all different directions. We don't just move forward and back, right? We move side to side. We move in rotation. We're 3-dimensional beings, and we need to train that way, right? Excellent. We've got 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to go to our hinge and row. 2 and 1. Excellent. Okay. Grab your weights or water bottles if you're using them. If not, you're going to use imaginary ones. Okay. We're going to go ahead and hinge. Row when we're hinged over and then come up. Ready? Hinging forward. Elbows stay close to the rib cage as we row up. And then we're going to go ahead and use our glutes to stand back up. Back side of the body, both the lower and the upper body by combining these two movements together. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we are back to squats again. This time we're going to do a sit squat. So you're going to sit all the way down. Right, you're going to hold a weight, 1 or 2 weights. Okay, you're going to all the way down, and then you're going to stand up and drive the weight up. Bring it back down, bring it back down. Okay, I'm going to do 1 more rep here. And now I'm going to go to my seated variation, leg extension, press. Again, if there's any kind of irritation, you can even do a slightly vertical press here. I'm going to do it from the side for the seated or standing. Okay, so watch this. Leg extension, leg extension. It's like the press is on a 45-degree. So if that range of motion feels better for you, use a single dumbbell and do a press in that 45-degree angle there. And time on those. Okay. Next, we have our bicep curl and march. Okay, so take your weights, water bottles. All right. We're going to bicep curl up to halfway up as we bring one knee up. Here we go. We hold, we pause just for a second. Feel that bounce. Right. These are also fun little activities you can do throughout the day. You know, maybe when you're in the kitchen preparing something to eat, you could always just do a little balance test where you just stand on one foot, see how many seconds you can stand on one foot for with that knee forward like we're doing right here. And then you have the counter right there to catch yourself if, you know, you start to fatigue. Ideally, you know, you're in good shape if you can hold for at least 10 seconds on either side, okay? All right, so our last one in this circuit is our ITY. My thumbs are up for this one. We're going to go into our hinge, okay? In 3, 2, and 1, we're going to hinge it forward. My thumbs are going to come up to an I, then they're going to come out to a T, and then they're going to come up into a Y, and then I'm going to squeeze my glutes to bring myself back up, right back down. Excellent. We have about 10 more seconds here. And then we are back to the top for round 2. 3, 2, and time. Okay. So I'm going to move to standing. You can remain seated if that's better. We're starting with our lunges. Okay. In 3, 2, or 1. Remember, seated is a alternating leg press. So you can put both hands on the back of the chair if you want. Maybe just one hand like this, just for a little bit of security and stability. And you're only coming back and down as far as your body's going to allow. Don't force anything. Keep the weight in the heel of that front foot. And again, we're predominantly working this front leg, okay? One's taking most of the work. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're not done with legs yet. We're going into our goblet squats. Double whammy on the legs today. So you can take 1 or 2 dumbbells, or just if you're doing body weight, just cross your hands over chest. Heels are about shoulder width apart. And I'm going to do it from this side view. We're going to lower down, right through the heels. The chest high without overextending yourself. Okay, you're not forcing. You want to keep the chest forward. Opposed to our hinge, right? When we hinge, our chest faces the ground, right? Three, 2, and 1. Okay. Upper body next. We have our curl to press, seated or standing, or you can do a wall push-up here, okay? So pick what's good for you, all right? Either curl and press. And I think I'm gonna do the push-up right here, just so if you're curling and pressing and you're kind of curious about this, again, I wish I had better wall space here. You're just gonna have to envision I'm right here, okay? So here, creating that angle. I want to think of myself like I'm pushing somebody away. I'm keeping my glutes engaged and my core engaged. If the wall seems easy for you, if you try this, you might be ready to go to a height that I'm at, like a countertop in your kitchen, okay? So curl and press is our option if this is not accessible for you, okay? I just want to give a demonstration since I'm introducing it, okay? All right, next we're on to grapevine, okay? Shake out the work we just did here. Recovery move, here we go. Remember, if you're seated, you're doing 2 lateral taps before you go to the other thing. We're moving on to the back side of the body next with our hinge and row. Halfway for this exercise. Ten more seconds here. 2 and 1. Excellent. Next, we have hinge and row, seated or standing. Feet are coming underneath the hips, toes are forward. All right. We're working our lats and we're also working our glutes and hamstrings here. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna push our hips back, row it. I'm gonna stay close to the body. Squeeze the glutes to stand it up. Back down. Good. 15 more seconds here. 5, 2, and 1. Okay. Sit, squat, and press is next. Okay. Remember, this is an alternating leg extension to overhead press. And remember, you can take 1 dumbbell or weight and come to a 45 right here if it hurts to come straight up. Okay. All right. Here we go. So feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm going to sit it down, drive it up, press. 3, 2, and time. Okay. Bicep curl march is next. Woo. Right, so grabbing our weights, and if you don't have weights, just use the palm of your hand, okay? Come on, here we go. We're gonna exhale. I'm really thinking of when I exhale, trying to find that connection where my exhale kind of deflates my stomach. Like I'm trying to push the air out and pull my belly button closer to my spine. Three, two, and time. Okay, last one for round 2 is our thumbs up, ITY, with that hinge, okay? So again, my feet are underneath my hips, toes are forward. You're off the edge of your chair a little bit so you can hinge if you're seated. Here we go, we're gonna hinge. My thumbs are gonna come up into an I, to a T, and then out to a Y. Good. 5 more seconds, then we go through everything one final time. And time. Okay, final set. Alternating lunges or your alternating seated leg press, okay? And hold both hands on the back of the chair. 1, none, okay? Or your seated variation. Remember that heel on that front leg should stay in contact to the floor as you lower down and drive up. If you feel it popping up, just play around with your foot placement a little bit until you find that spacing that it needs to be at, okay? The quality of your work is more important than trying to get a ton of reps in here, okay? I'm gonna make sure that we learn the pattern, recruiting the proper muscles first before we go ahead and try to increase a lot of volume. 2, and 1. Good. All right. Goblet squats or alternating seated leg press, okay? Or alternating seated leg extension, I'm sorry. All right, let's get ready. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Lower down, drive it up. Still pressing up through the heels. Squeezing my glutes right here at the top. All the way, you start squeezing the glutes from the bottom and then you feel that engagement right at the top there, that they're in full contraction, they're right at the top. Side again a little bit. Remember, we're trying to keep that chest a little more upright versus like our hinge and row. When we hinge and row, we kind of do this, right? Now we're trying to keep it upright. 5 more seconds. 2, and 1. Okay, next we have curl and press. Okay, bicep curl to press. Or you can do the wall push-up if you're liking that variation there. Seated or standing, okay? And take the press out if it's too much and the wall push-up's not working out for you. Grapevine is next. We have 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and time on these, okay? Put weights aside. Remember to get your drinks whenever you need them. Grapevine is next. And 5, 3, 2, and 1. I think I'll decide this time. Have fun with it. Make it your own. Any kind of lateral movement here. Okay. Five more seconds. And time. Whew, okay. Hinge and row. Final set of hinge and row. Okay, so weights. Okay, feet are underneath the hips. Okay, toes facing forward. Right, those hips push back. Here we go. So we're gonna push back, row, squeeze the glutes up. So different from our squat. Now we see how the chest faces the floor more than trying to keep it upright here. And that keeps the emphasis on the back side of the body, the hamstrings and glutes. Squats get your quadriceps and your glutes. Hinges get your hamstrings and your glutes. So they're similar, but different. 2 and 1. Okay. Sit, squat, and press is next. Okay, so feet are going to come about shoulder width apart, a little bit further apart. Okay. With or without no weight, you're putting your hands here. With weight, we're going to sit it down, drive it up, press. Sure, if you feel your knees kind of caving inwards towards one another, make sure you're consciously trying to push your knees apart. If you do notice the knees caving in, it's just that indicator that your glutes are a little bit weak and we need to activate and turn them on a little bit more. And a lot of our lateral exercises help activate glute medius, and our squats and lunges and hinges help turn on those glutes as well. Okay, next we have our bicep curl march. Okay, seated or standing, ready, and here we go. Exhale and hold. This is one of those exercises where you might notice an imbalance. You might notice one side is easier to maintain on one leg than the other. And that's okay. It's just being aware is the first step in helping to make corrections. We help correct things by doing things like this, which single limb training, where we work one leg at a time and time, or one arm at a time, depending on our imbalances. Last exercise, then we go into 2 sets of Tabata. Thumbs up, ITY, hinge. Okay, so feet are underneath the hips, toes are forward. Okay, here we go. We're going to push the hips back. Thumbs come up to an I. Come out to a T. Then up to a Y. Squeeze the glutes up. Think about the back of your shoulders, your whole shoulder complex here is working with these 3 movements. Really good for shoulder health and posture. Five more seconds, and then we break. time. Excellent. Okay, that was 24 minutes of work right there. Goes fast. So let's take a breather here. We've got 2 sets of 4-minute Tabatas to get through. And the idea here is just to increase that intensity one last time. We should be nice and warmed up at this point and just see if we can get a little bit of sweat going on. You're trying to challenge yourself, okay? Just be, mindful and smart about when to push and when to pull back, okay? Our first Tabata that we're going to start with is another jack variation, and it's kind of like your elbows are out, shoulder height, right? And you just out. Okay, so we're coming out like this. And then our second one is our tricep kick back and tap back with a weight. I want you to notice something, whether we're going this way or whether we're going this way, you see it's the same elbow flexion and extension. So we're getting a nice intensity on the triceps here with those 2 variations, okay? Weight for these, let's keep it body weight, or I wouldn't say anything more than water bottles or a 1-pound weight if you're going to do something out to the side. I'm going to keep my body weight, okay? I'm going to focus on high reps here, and then I'm going to use my weights when I'm lower here because it's just a little safer for the neck and the shoulder, okay? So if you're strong though and you got 1 pound weights or so for the out lateral, that's okay. All right, guys. So those 2 moves, seated, it's going to look just like, I'm going to do the Tabata standing, but seated, it's going to be our jack legs, right? And then we're going to do our tap back with our toe, okay? All right, so let's get ready. 20 seconds is going on the clock, starting with those jacks with the elbow flexion and extension. Ready? And here we go. So I'm only flexing and extending at the elbow. The shoulders are staying upright. Moving at a pace that's comfortable for you. We're going to pre-fatigue the triceps and shoulders with this one. Good. Time. Now we're going to grab our weights and we're going to come into our kickback and our tap back, okay? Really make that mind-muscle connection. When you're extended long, feel that muscle. So this one's a little slower with the weight. 2 and 1. Okay, that's round 1. Whew. Going back to those lateral extensions with the jumping jack legs. Here we go. I'll show you from the side too. So I'm really trying to keep those elbows up at shoulder height. That's going to work the shoulders in addition to the triceps here. And I'm slicing my palms through the air. 2 and 1. Whew. Shake it out. Going back to those tricep kickbacks and tap backs. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Five more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay. Top of round 3. Get your drinks whenever you need them. Whew. Here we go. Feel your elbows dropping with fatigue. Try to pick them up, right? Not forcing. Three, 2, and 1. Woo, okay. Going back to our tricep kickbacks with the tap back. 2 and 1. Here we go. 2, and 1. Final set of each, okay? Final set of each, all right? Trying to burn the triceps out here. Then we have one more Tabata, okay? 2, and 1, here we go. Ball flexion and extension through the elbow. The shoulder joint is staying pretty still. Trying to focus on those triceps. And time. All right, shake them out. We got one more set. Let's tricep kickbacks with the tap lock. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. All right, shake them out. Hopefully feel that blood flow in the back of your arms there, your shoulders. All right, let's get a drink. One more 4-minute block. You're finished. So we have our slip rope squat, right? So the imaginary rope that's right above our shoulder that we have to go under and over, right? Under and over that imaginary rope, okay? So slip rope squat. If you want to modify, if you don't want to seated, we're just going to keep ourselves wide with the feet as we go under and over with our upper body. If you're somewhere in between those two, maybe you want to do the grapevine again, or even just a lateral 2-step back and forth, okay? All right, so that's in between the two variations. And then the second one, so we're gonna do a high knee with a pull down. All right, so I'm kind of like trying to tap my fingertips to my knees, really get into those abs, and our heart rate's gonna go up on this last one, okay? So work at an intensity that's good for you. It's okay to feel like you're at an 8 on this 1 to 10 range here, okay? All right, as long as you're not in acute pain, it's okay to push yourself and be a little uncomfortable in your exercise. Let's finish strong. Slip rope squat is first. Remember, you can do lateral 2 steps or grapevine if you want to do something different, or your seated variation. Let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Under and over. Under and over. You're going to find your own rhythm and tempo. Remember, we're all built differently. We all have different limitations and time. All right, high knee. All right, so we're gonna bring those knees up and we're gonna tap down with our fingertips. Here we go. Seated or standing. Three, 2, and 1. Woo. 3 more sets of that, okay? Adjust your intensity up or down as you need to, okay? Ready? And slip rope squats. And time. Woo. Remember, it's okay to feel a little uncomfortable, a little sweaty, a little bit of a heart rate. As long as you're not dizzy or anything like that, it's okay. Knee raise. If you're dizzy, just take an extra rest, okay? Maybe sit out 20 seconds or go to seated variations. Two and 1. Woo-hoo. 2 down, 2 to go, okay? Starting to feel that heat now. All right, here we go. 2 and 1. Under and over. You pick your tempo, your pace. You do not have to follow my pace. If that doesn't work for you, what I'm trying to do for myself here is get myself to the intensity where I feel a little uncomfortable. Okay. And that's for me, that pace that I'm doing for myself is where I'm at. But yours might be slower. Okay. And that's fine. Take it to where it needs to be. If this is better, that's great. Two, time. One more time, guys. All right. Last 40 seconds of active work here. Final set of that squat in 2, 1. Remember, if this is just too much at this point, you can go to lateral 2-step or a grapevine. Two, and time. Well done with those. Last round of that standing ab work. Those knee raises, tapping down with our fingertips here. Here we go. Three, two, and 1. Woo! All right, guys. Nice work. That one was intense. Okay. But we're done. That's the nice part. Let's get a drink. Bring that heart rate down a little bit. Hopefully have a little sweat or body heat going on, right? A little bit of heavy breathing here. Remember, that's so good for your heart too, okay? So we're exercising our heart in addition to our muscles, all right? Okay, so back before we do our forward bend, let's just go ahead and do a lateral neck stretch here. Excellent. And then release the head, roll it around to the other side. Gently pressing and pulling. Feeling that heart rate come back to normal. Excellent. And then releasing from there. And now we're going to go into our forward fold. Okay, so palms on the back of your chair, hips at 90. Okay, stretching out the back side of the body here as well as our shoulders. You can kind of sway your hips from side to side if you like and see how that stretch feels on one side of the body versus the other. Not forcing anything, just relaxing everything. Good. And then from here, let's gently walk ourselves up. Okay. We're going to go into a hamstring stretch for the back of the leg. So you can either put your foot up on your chair here. Okay. Hinge over. We're trying to stretch all back here. Okay. Or you can do it from your seated position here if your leg doesn't want to go up that high. Right? It's no problem. Just do it from here. Okay. You just reach where you're at. All right. So a few more seconds on this side. Good. And before we go on the second side, let's just stand on this with that same leg. We're going to just stand on the opposite leg, and with the same leg we just stretched, we're going to flex and point for 5, and then circle each direction for 5. Good. Now the same thing on the other side, either a seated hamstring stretch or standing. Maybe you have an in between, like a bench or a step stool or something, or a stair you can put your foot on. That stretch through the back of the leg. And then let's go ahead and release that. And putting all our weight on the first leg that we worked, we're going to go ahead and flex and point for 5, the leg we just stretched, and then circle 5 each direction. Good. Let's go ahead. Seated or standing, we're going to do a lateral bend. Stretch out the side of the body here. You can go ahead and pull on that wrist if that feels okay for you, or just keep it here. You can do this seated as well. And then gently come back to center. And then the same thing on the other side. So you can be here, you could grab at the wrist and gently pull upward and over, or you can just be seated doing the same too. Whole side body stretch here. Good. And then our final stretch for today, I do recommend being seated for this one. We're going to do our seated twist, okay? So I'm going to take both my palms, I'm going to put them over my right side, and I'm going to arc them over to the left side and try to look behind my shoulder on the or on the right side. Sorry, I'm arcing over behind my right shoulder here, getting that nice thoracic twist through the spine, rib cage. And now I'm going to go ahead and arc my arms over now on the left side. Excellent. And coming back to center, we're going to go ahead and inhale, palms together, exhale, palms to heart. One more. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's class.